Night. I hope you are doing well. I have been just thinking, what shall we do? And I'm going to bring these in. So we have got some new beads on the website. They are 6mm and 8mm glass beads, and I thought, what's a perfect opportunity to play with them. I chosen a couple of different designs. One of them is shiny, the other one is a frosted finish. So I think it would be just really nice to have a little play and come up with something together. So with some designs, I kind of like the frosty finish because it's like a frosty candy finish. But I'm gonna turn you down and I'm gonna show you these beads as I get them out from the bag. So shall we go down? There we go. Maybe zoom out a little bit. There we go. So these are the frosty finish ones. It comes in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different colors. And then we have got the 8mm version of them. They got the code them on there, so I'm not gonna get them all out of the bag, but they are exactly the same. So they are matching one with the jumping off the table. So I am really not sure what we should do with these ones. I am thinking netting, but do let me know that what do you think, or what would you do with these beautiful beads. I'm gonna get the blue one. Should I get the blue one or the turquoise one? I'm gonna go with the turquoise. What shall we do with these beautiful beads? I am thinking we could do some sort of netting in between. We could do all sorts of different things. We have done netting in the past, but and I have got a netting bracelet coming up soon on Totally, but I think really if we could really play with these and make something, maybe put some crystals in between, I think it would really good. Good evening, Sharon. Nice to see you here. Good evening, Barbara. Michelle, good evening. And my favorite stitch is scroll. Michelle, we didn't know that, did we? Probably not a popular stitch. I don't know. I can't get my words out all day today. I don't know what's going on. I love crow as well. Lucy, good evening. Karen, good evening, lovely. She says, hi from Virginia, USA. I really can't get my words out. I don't know what's going on. Julie, good evening as well. And Karen said her favorite stitch is herringbone and peyote as well. We could do herringbone with this one as well, with like in between adding the beads in. But I think we have done herringbone lately, and we kind of like use the herringbone quite a lot. Good evening, Aniko. Nice to see you here. She says, hello from Montreal. My favorite stitch is row, which stands for right angle weave. Lucy's favorite stitch is peyote. Brilliant. And then I'm thinking, let's do netting. Tracy, good evening to you as well. Hope everyone is okay. So let's have a little play with these ones. I'm just going to move these. I'm just going to pop this to the back, just sort of out of the way. I keep that bag because that's the code number for that. And I'm going to grab some seed beads. I'm thinking size 11 seed beads. So I'm just going to grab a couple of colors actually, either turquoise or this sort of teal color. I'm not sure, but let me just get the top off so you don't get the glare from there. I think probably this one will go nicer with it. And then I'm thinking that we can add some crystals in between. So if we have these at the top and these at the bottom, and we cross over in crystals, and we have done many patterns like that, so perhaps we need to make it bigger, and maybe we could have some of these at the bottom. I'm going to cut the string so we can kind of place it on the mat and see what happens and see where they fall, how we can, and then we can imagine a thread path in between them. So we've been working on bracelets quite a lot, so it would be nice to do sort of something necklacey-ish. And these are just ordinary glass beads, but I think they're just so pretty. They look really raw, they look really natural, and I just sometimes I just love something like this, like something just completely different. Usually I always go for pearls and crystals, so it's nice for a change to have something like this. So I'm just gonna get the string out of this. Let's cut the strand. So I am thinking, so if we had something like, just move this over a little bit. So if we had something like the smaller ones at the top, but then we still could use some smaller ones in between as well, and perhaps just use the larger ones at the bottom. That could be an option. We could do like a figure of 8, because usually when we're netting, so when you start with netting, you always start with, or maybe these could be in the middle and have even something smaller at the top, something different. That could be an option as well. But when we're doing netting, we have to cross over in 2 points or 4 points, if that makes sense. When I started, it's going to make quite a lot of sense. But when you just want to sort of pass over in the middle in 1 point, then you're going to have to wiggle around your thread path in all sorts of different way. So I'm thinking, what we're thinking, as anybody please give me ideas of what you would like me to do as well. Rachel is saying she likes an idea of netting as well. Mina is saying, sorry, miss what the beads we're using. So these are just frosted beads. They are new beads on Totally. I just thought we have a little play with them. The colors are gorgeous. Hey all, Natalie is saying good evening to you as well. So yeah, we got fairly a few different options. I'm just going to grab thread, because we're going to need thread to use with it. So too dark or lighter shade. That one will be perfect. And then we sort of can get started. We could do some figure of 8 stuff as well. Ooh, and I got another idea as well. So we're talking about right angle weave and how to kind of incorporate larger beads in there as well. So what we can do is just going to pull this down just like that. We could do beads around it, but we have done beadwork where we kind of hug the beads. But if I don't want to hug the bead and I just want to sort of create little units in between, that would look really good as well. So offshooting from netting, I just had another little idea. We will do the netting just in a second, but we could quite simply just, if you wanted to leave these as, and just use seed beads with them and do a really simple design. It's from one idea you get another idea. So I'm just going to come back through this, and then I'm going to once again pick up a seed bead, go back through. So I got a seed bead on either end. Then I'm going to go into this single seed bead, and if I just wanted a little unit on this, if I pick up 1, 2, 3 seed beads, well, I need 4. I'm going to try it with 3. Come through this one again, and then pull this up, and then I'm going to pick up another seed bead, go through the next one. So I'm going to create a little squares. I'm just hanging there, and then come through here, and then pick up another one, come through the next one, and pick up a final one and come to right at the bottom. Roxy, hello. She's saying hello. She's saying good 2 words in. And then come through here again. And then we could go up and add She's like, what's going on? She's hearing somebody outside, I think. And that one is not sitting the right way how I want it to sit. So let me just pull this back. There we go. And so sort of creating a diamond on the top of the beads. Let me zoom in. What size are they, please? So they are 6mm and 8mm beads, but I'm just going to zoom in. And then I'm going to weave my thread to the top and add another one on. And this time I'm going to add the smaller one on. So kind of just creating a chain with them, but I could do more of these units in between. What's going on with my thread tonight? There we go. I'm gonna pick up a 6mm and another seed, take these down, come back through, go through the top seed bead again from the other side because it's connected by the thread there. I'm gonna come from the other side and pull this up, and then I can make my way to the top once more through that seed bead, and I can repeat adding these little units in between. So I'm just kind of adding a little intricate detail in between the beads themselves. So I'm going to pick up 3. I'm just going to do a couple of these, and then we're going to do some netting. But I just had this very quick idea. If you didn't want to go all the way and do some netting and just wanted sort of have something which is look like a simple strand necklace, but just adding the beads in there, I think this would be a cool way to do it. So again, coming through there, and the last one coming through there into, oh no, maybe if I miss this one, then I will pull those 4 beads together. So I'm going to miss that very bottom one, and if I pull this together, then it's going to pull it in more of a square once more, and then I'm going to the top. So we haven't created a diamond, we have created a square here actually, because we picked up 3 beads. And then just go up, because like that's the bead in the middle which is connecting to this one, so I need to connect off that bead to the next one. Now if I want a diamond in the next, so I'm gonna come back through, go back to that middle again, pull this up nice and tight, and then go back through that bead. And I mean, like, even before we go any, like as we growing this and as we making sort of a little beaded link in between these beads, we could quite easily add a crystal on the top of this, or something into the, right into the middle of that unit. What do you think? Oh, Nat's saying my teddy hurt her and came into the kitchen with me. Oh, bless. That looks better. Nat is saying hello. Roxy. Rachel is saying hey, Roxy. So I'm gonna this way. So if I want this the corner bead, then I need to pick up 1 2 3 4. So 1 2 3 4. I'm gonna come through this, then I'm gonna pick up a single one. Yes, go up there, pick up another single one with a few more seed beads. So that will be the top one. Pick up another single one, but then we got one extra there, because we have got, if we picked up 4, we will be adding one more in here, coming there. So once again we're gonna have to cheat and not add one there, I think. So if I pick one up here and come through, now she's playing with one of her toys. I'm not sure if you can hear her. So I added 1 2 3 4, and I only needed to add 3 in. So first 2 we need to go through. Okay, I got it. We didn't need this very first bead. So I'm gonna right up to the top, I'm gonna add the next unit in. Is that right? Yeah. So if I pick up 1 2 3 4, come through, then add. Yeah, that's it. So I picked up another one. I'm gonna come down, go through that middle one again. So if you want it as a diamond, then this is what we need to do. So I'm going to go through that bead. I'm going to pick up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to come through, and before I add a bead, I'm going to go through one more bead. So we didn't need that first one. Then now I'm going to add a bead. And add a bead again. And add our third bead. And then when we get down to the bottom here, we're gonna miss that very top bead and just gonna go straight up. So now we have got a triangle, Now have we got a diamond where they are connected by the corners. So there's 2 ways we could create little squares, or we could create little diamonds like this. I like this one the best, the last diamond. What do we think? What about microcrystals? Absolutely, we could. We could add a microcrystal in the middle, and we could add it to both sides actually, as we're adding it. So like you have got both sides there. So I'm gonna add another unit. I'm gonna add an 8mm. Maybe if you just added one size as well would look good. Pick up a seed bead. I'm gonna add one more unit just without anything in the middle, and then we add another one with something in the middle. So just we have got a complete unit in between 2 diamonds. So coming through here, then through there, going back up, and then through here. Roxy, what are you doing, lovely? Then I'm gonna pick up 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna go through this unit again, and then I'm gonna come through the first one. Oh, bless her, she wants to come out. Roxy. And then I'm gonna pick up a single seed bead. I think Victoria came home, and then she's eager to get out to go and see her. And add this last one. Then I'm gonna jump over that top seed bead there, and I'm gonna come up to the end. And if I wanted to add a crystal, I could add it right now before I get to the top. So I could just sort of cross over, but I'm just going to go to the top, just like that. So we got 2 little diamonds sort of connecting in between 2 beads. And we could go and do that all the way around. Right, let me grab, I don't know if a microcrystal will be big enough. We might want, I'll grab one, I'll grab a strand and we see. So, my God, probably this color will be all right with it. I think it might be a tiny bit small. We need something like 2 or 3 mil on there. Because if I put this on the top of it, I think we're gonna kind of lose it. Let me just zoom in there. We're gonna kind of lose it. If I put that on the top, you're gonna lose that little bead. So let me just, I'll leave this here, and I'm just gonna get slightly bigger one out. Rondel, I don't think it's the right shape. I think we need a bicone or something which will then sit in. My goodness. Here we go. So this is a 4mm bicone, which I think is slightly too big. And then this is a 3mm bicone, which I think might be the right size. So let's try that one first. Elizabeth is saying, I think the square looks nicer. Can we see your rocks, please? Yeah, I will get her out at the end, because if I get her out now, she's not going to go back in. So she's got this lovely little crate, and when I'm on my own in the room, I usually just sort of put her in there. Not all the time, but when I'm live, when I'm like doing something, or if I'm on Zoom where I can't pay attention to her, because she was this was like a couple of months ago, but she has tuned through an electric cable, and thankfully the other way around, I'm silly me. Thankfully the plug socket was turned off, so there was no harm to her. And then she came into the office, came into the warehouse about 3 weeks later, and she chewed all the network cables under the table. And it was just kind of a little bit frightening, because like if you don't keep an eye on her, she could do anything. So when I'm in here and I'm live, she goes into her crate. But lately when I'm live, like Leanne is always here, so she doesn't need to go in really, and she got used to, I guess, to a bit more free roaming around the room. Right, going up into the first one, adding a seed, and another seed, and the final seed. And then we're going to turn around. I mean, we could add another 2 or 3 units of this, like it doesn't just have to be 1 unit. Then I'm going to come through, jump over that middle one, come through here. Actually, I'm going to go into the one I added, into the very tip. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick up a bicone and just go to the other tip. So I'm exiting on the right, I'm going to come from the left, and I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to go back into the bicone, so I'm going to centralize it and then go through it again. I think that's quite nice, and I'm going to add one on the other side as well. So I'm going to turn the unit around. So if I wear this as a necklace, then it's kind of going to be both sided, or could be good. You don't have to. It could be just one side. Maybe you should try it with a 4mm crystal as well, just to see what's the difference. So I'm going up in the middle again, and then going to the very, very tip. I think that's quite a little pretty unit there we have. What do we think? If I pop it down, I think the only thing with this one, the units are gonna sort of, because it's only one thread in between, they're gonna sort of turn as we go. But I think that's not necessarily a bad thing. If I added another unit onto the top of this, then it wouldn't turn. But then I guess what we could do, once we have got like a series of units, there is no reason why we couldn't connect the outside up with seed beads as well. So that's sort of something to think about. I do like the square one, how we ended up like by an accident with the square one. I like the square one as well, and again you could link into and add more bits or pieces in there, but I like that one as well. Right, let's try the netting. Rachel is saying I'm liking what I'm seeing. Thank you. Hello everyone. Carly is saying good evening, Carly. Good morning from San Diego. Oh, bless you. Thank you for joining us. What time is in San Diego right now? Rachel, good morning. I think the bicon needs to be another color. Yeah, possibly, because it doesn't really show up that much, or the seed bead. So it's like more of a contrast rather than blending in. Definitely. But at this stage, when I sit there and I just play with stuff, I'm just really looking for the size. I'm not really looking for the colors, and once I have the size right and the pattern right, then I go and look at the colors. I try to match the colors so they kind of blend in, but I vary about the colors a bit more later on. So I think that could be a nice little pattern. And again, if you wanted this as a necklace, there is like, we could add a larger seed bead loop at the bottom and the shorter one at the top. I mean, that would look quite pretty as well. Let me just add one more unit. Then we just add 1 minute, and then we don't need the crystal, we only need it on one side. So I'm going to add the same size bead again. I did it again. I picked up a seed bead first, come back, need to pick up the glass bead first. So I got another idea. So if we picked up this, I so love this, like I say like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this, and like 2 minutes in the live or 5 minutes in the live, it's like it turns a different direction. It's just like really how your mind wanders. So if I go back up, but I just love the frosted finish on these beads. Just come through, it doesn't really matter what way I go through it actually. Christine, good evening. He says it's currently 11:26 in San Diego. I am here as well. Oh, bless you. Well, it's 7:27 p.m. in the UK and it's raining outside. I just missed the rain. We took Roxy out for a walk a couple of hours ago, and I just missed the rain. As we were coming home, it started raining. So that was good. Right, I am gonna try the 4mm crystal on the top as well. See how does that look? But I think that's not gonna alter our unit anyway. And then we can see how we can link it up afterwards, and perhaps we can add the larger bead in a way. So if I made this all the way on a necklace, so I'm jumping over that middle bead again. I'm gonna go completely to the side, and I'm gonna grab a 4mm crystal. What color is the 4mm? I picked up the same 4mm, so let me grab another color for the 4mm, so we will be able to see on the top better. I think that color. Let's do that color. It's the same color, but it's kind of a little bit different finish. So hopefully, let's grab a couple of those to the side. Where's my needle? So this is a 4mm crystal. Again, I'm going away from myself, so I'm gonna go away on this side as well, away from my beading. I'm gonna come back, and it curls up. So it curls up around it. I think the hole in the middle, it's kind of not big enough. It's pulling it together. So we either need something flatter or need something different. The 3mm is better than the 4. Wouldn't you agree? Do let me know in the chat. I'm just moving this over a little bit because my hand is keep wandering to the left hand side. I think the 3mm is better than the 4. The 4 color is better, but the 3 kind of sits in the middle much nicer. So I'm going to go to the end. And then come through. I'm going to pick up one more 6mm. We could do this with 8mm as well. One more seed. Come back on myself. Elizabeth is saying she likes the 3mm. Yeah, I agree with you. I like the 3mm better as well. Oh, Carly's saying it's a lovely sunny day around here. Oh, bless you. We're all heading to San Diego, everybody. Oh, Kellyanne saying, waiting on yet another snowstorm in Maine. Oh, bless. We didn't have any snow whatsoever this year here, and I love snow. Everybody else around me had snow. We didn't have any. But never mind. Going up, I'm gonna, oh, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. Right amount of 1, 2, yeah, I did 4. Sometimes, like, when you start doing stitching, after a while you start to do things on autopilot. And then you kind of have to stop. It's like, oh, I did the right beads. Or tell me it's not just me. So I'm gonna come down on the side there. I'm gonna jump over that middle one and go up. I'm gonna come in the little picot I just added, I'm gonna pick up a 3mm crystal, jump to the top, and the side on the other side, well, top at the moment because I'm holding it that way. Come back down. Maybe we could add a size 15 in between. Maybe that would just sort of tidy up those threads, and then I'm gonna get to the end. Now, if I wanted to, I'm not gonna do any more of this because what I wanted to show you that I could link these up. So at the moment, I've only got crystal on one side and they can turn around. Now, if I wanted this as a necklace or the bracelet, if I wanted a bracelet, I would be doing the same amount of seed beads on either side. If I want this as a necklace, I'm gonna turn back on myself, go back into that side bead again, and I'm gonna pick up, if this is the top part of it, I'm gonna pick up, let's say, I'm gonna pick up 5, slide them down and see how they look, because I want it to curl a little bit. I think we need 6. So I'm gonna pick up an extra and then go through the next top. So with that, I kind of lock them together so the crystals will be facing the same way. Maybe 6 is too many. I'm gonna go with 6. No, I'm gonna take it back because it's not gonna curl then the way how I want it to curl. So I'm gonna go back to 5 beads. Sometimes you judge it and then and then you kind of add one on and then it's not the right number, so back into the top. So I tried 5, well, I thought 5 was right, should have gone with my gut feeling, and then I was like, no, I'm gonna do 6, and then I'm gonna pick up 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, going to the next unit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, next unit. This will curve it nicely, and then the crystal will stay at the front. And I'm going to turn around here because the next one is an 8mm anyway, so we would have to add more beads. And to the bottom we could actually add something else as well. So we could go ahead, if we wanted to add another line here, but then we could, so if this was our top row for a necklace, and like imagine this is like really long, I could pick up even a pattern. So I could pick up a seed bead, a crystal, and then that sort of takes it down, another seed bead. I could pick up an 8mm bead, another seed bead, crystal, seed bead, and then go through the next. So this would like kind of dangle down underneath it. I might need to make this unit a little bit bigger. Maybe there's a couple of seed beads needed there because then they are a little bit too close, but I think you get the idea that you can add other things at the bottom. I don't know if I like this 8mm bead here. I'm just gonna step back. Hopefully I haven't stitched through the thread, but yeah, I did. So just to make it right. Kristen is saying, love this design and color, thank you. Well, we're just playing. Like, this is not like anything yet. We could just add crystals at the bottom. I'm gonna take the 8mm out because I think it's quite big and bulky. We could add 8mm at the top and perhaps a couple of 6mm at the bottom. I'm just keeping an eye because I definitely really want to try the netting. So if I just added crystals, what would that look? Retelling the needle quickly, bringing this up, crystal, seed. I'm gonna do crystal, seed, crystal, seed. Let's take those down and see how much that comes around, or is that too much? Maybe 3 crystals is enough. 4 will kind of like hang down. So if I had 3 crystals with seeds in between, it would like be more of a tighter finish. Because I got 4, it's gonna hang down a bit more. And then we could go in and add other bits of pieces in there as well. This is really, I don't like that crystal. It's completely different color. Where are my 3 mils? Just want to sort of add this on there. I think if I did this, or if I did this as a necklace, I would definitely want to use the 8mm on the top to give it more of a statement, because the 3 mils are nice in the 3 mil crystals are really nice in there, but the 3 mil is this in size, not that much of a difference. Like it's double the size, I know, but when you look at it from the front, if the top one was an 8mm, let me just pop this on the top, it would kind of make, I'm gonna have to hold it on there with a needle, it would kind of make more of an impact, if that makes any sense. And I'm gonna pick up another one. Right, okay, so I'm just gonna take this through. I did really like those little units, 1, 2, 3, 4 crystals again, but I really want to try nothing with it as well. So we could have a pretty little necklace front. Obviously that wouldn't be that color crystal. Let me hold up a 3mm in front of it so you can see it. But you don't know until you try it. You kind of don't know how's this all gonna look like and how's this all gonna come together. I think that could be a really little pretty pattern for a front of the necklace, or you could do it like all the way around and just kind of work it through. We could even work crystals in the top as well if we wanted to, because as we see here, we have got like a little gap, so we could have added a little crystal in there as well. That would have looked good as well. There is so many different things we could do. Right, let's try some netting. I'm gonna pop this up, and actually let me just go through a couple of the beads so I get right to the end, and then I can cut my thread off. And I always keep these little samples what we make, because I think it's quite good to look back on later on that how they look like. But if I just put my hand over it, just imagine that all the way a necklace, I think that would look really good. The beads remind me of mermaid beads, Barbara is saying. Right, okay, so let's try some netting. And now we got some crystals on here as well. So with the netting, it depends how we want the ends. Do we want little dangly ends, or do we want sort of, first of all, do we want a necklace, or do we want, or maybe we could have those ones dangling at the bottom that way, and having these ones go that way at the top, and then we would, it wouldn't be, and we could have crystals in between. I think that would look really good as well. Let me just pop some more on here. So we would need a thread path sort of going on in between, and this would be, I would just use that bead as a drop. Like I would use a through hole drop, sort of dangling down. So if you want something, we could come down. If we add crystals in between, let me just grab a few more of these 3mm crystals. Or we could equally, I think, use the 4mm as well. So if you want to have a crystal in between, then we kind of sort of gonna cross over. And there is another one. And let's put that one here. So when I come down here, I want to, or we could do this in kind of like a right angle weave way. We could have those there. We could have, if I pull this down a little bit more as well, because with netting you sort of, you go back and you sort of stitch back and you go back, but I want these at the bottom, and we could add another little crystal in the bottom of those to kind of have a little sparkle there as well. I think that would look really good. 1, 2, 3, 4. That would look really good. So I would want to come down with my thread, but obviously we have to link the top as well. Go into these beads then go back to the top and cross over the next one. Then we would be coming down on these and cross over the next one. So I want something in the middle to bind them together. So when I do come down, I would, if I, probably pearls we could use as well. So if I just use these larger crystals here, we would need to cross over in those crystals in the turquoise, the milky color crystals as well. So we would need those in between as well. Okay, I think I have an idea. So I'm gonna start by the top, and I'm gonna come down. So I want 2 seed beads, let's say 2 seed beads there, 2 seed beads coming into here, going back up, 2 seed beads going back in. Yeah, okay, I got it. So I am going to, I need a few more seed beads on my mat. I'm gonna start at the top. So I'm gonna pick up 2 seed beads. I'm gonna pick up a small crystal, 2 seed beads. I'm gonna pick up this larger crystal, 2 seed beads, and I'm gonna pick up an 8mm and a small crystal, then a seed bead for the end. I'm gonna turn around, and I'm gonna turn around and just wrap this in the end of my finger. So I'm gonna leave that pattern there, and I'm just gonna move the camera over a little bit so we don't have to use those up. So I can sort of mentally keep referring it. So I'm gonna miss this seed bead. I'm gonna go through the crystal and the 8mm. Then I'm gonna pick up 2 seed beads, a 4mm crystal, just need a few more of the strand, and another 2 seed beads. I'm gonna go into the small crystal itself. This is not gonna focus because those beads are on. Is it focus better here? What's in your way, camera? Sometimes when I have so much beads on around the side of it, it stops focusing. So 2 seed beads, larger crystal, 2 seed beads going through the small crystal. And now I'm gonna pick up the top part. So I'm gonna pick up a seed bead, a 6mm, a seed bead, a small crystal, 2 seed beads, and I'm gonna cross down into this one. Then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pick up, and actually we need one dub section, I think, because if we add one of these at the bottom in every section, it's not gonna pull apart that much. So I try it with the 8mm in just for now, and then we will try it kind of adding one every other one. So if I'm coming out of this, I will be picking up 2 seed beads, an 8mm and the 3mm and the seed bead, taking this down, then going back up to the crystal and the 8mm, gonna pick up 2 seed beads, a 4mm, 2 seed beads, gonna go back up through the little crystal, and then I'm gonna do the top section. Maybe it will work out. 1 seed bead, 6mm, 1 seed bead, small crystal, 2 seed beads coming through in this one. It might get a little bit crowded at the bottom, but we will see just in a sec, because it will, as we add more beads to it, it will start to pull the pattern out. Well, I just need to get a few more beads off the strands. It's a few more 8mm, 3mm. Where is the end of the 4mm? There we go. And a few more 4mm as well. And the 6mm. More the 6mm. So I'm down there. I'm gonna pick up 2 seed bead, an 8mm, a small crystal and a seed bead, take these down, turn back into the crystal, and the 8mm, 2 seed beads, 4mm, 2 seed beads, and going up in the crystal itself. So we kind of have, we need to pull the pattern a little bit more apart. I'm going to do a couple more units because it's getting a little bit too crowded at the bottom. Let me just come back this way with the camera. It's getting a little bit too crowded at the bottom, I think. So we need larger sections, which we're gonna give larger sections by adding more seed beads in between. So instead of 2 seed beads, perhaps we need to pick up 3 so the pattern can open up a little bit more. Kalyan is saying, this color combination reminds me of a warm sunny day at the ocean. Oh, bless. We could all do with a warm sunny day at the ocean at the moment, I think. Especially at the moment, it's so cold here. I'm going to do a couple more units just like this. And then I will get a... Hang on, crystal. No, I don't need a crystal. I need to go through the crystal. I will get a separate piece of thread and we do one with larger sort of sections in the middle, and then you will see what will be the difference. 1, 2, 8mm, small crystal, seed bead, and then turning around. Oh, the crystal as well, not just the 8mm. Don't miss the crystal. Then I'm going to pick up 2 seed beads, 4mm crystal, 2 seed beads, and go up through that top crystal as well. Let's add one more unit. Seed bead, 6mm seed bead, small crystal, 2 seed beads, coming through the 4mm. Then I'm going to pick up, so netting doesn't have to have like sort of a same edge at the top as it's on the bottom. 2 seed beads, 8mm crystal, seed bead, taking these down, and then I would be turning around in the crystal and the 8mm, and I'm just going to finish that side. Right, so we need to make the bottom part bigger so it opens up, and if you're doing a necklace we naturally want this to curve that way. So can you see when I'm trying to curve it, at the moment it's quite a flat, so when I'm trying to curve it, it's trying to open up at the bottom, but because we only have 2 seed beads underneath it, it doesn't allow it to open up that much. So what we're going to do, we're going to keep the 2 seed beads at the top, but at the bottom we're going to add 3 seed beads in, so it will be a longer length of thread and the pattern can open up. So I'm just going to grab another piece of thread and we're going to try that, and by just changing 1 seed bead in there, it really makes a lot of difference, and you will see. Karen is saying, I believe netting just became my favorite stitch. This is so beautiful. Oh, thank you. I love netting. I have done loads of stuff because you kind of work from one side all the way to the other side, but with loads of stitches as well. But I go through, and I don't know about, let me know in the chat if you are the same. I go through phases. So I go through phases when I use like right angle weave a lot, and then I go through another phase where I use herringbone a lot, and then another phase where I use I don't know, peyote a lot, and just keep on using all sorts of different beads with the same stitch, and then and then I don't go and don't use herringbone for 6 months. It's really funny, like I think how your brain kind of works. Right, okay, so let's start. We're gonna start with the small crystal, then we're gonna pick up 2 seed bead, 4mm, not 2 but 3 seed beads, then our 8mm and the small crystal and the seed bead. I'm gonna take this down. Just take that out of the shot. Just rub that around my finger so I can hold on to this. Go back to the crystal and the 8mm. Now I'm gonna have to pick up 3 seed beads. 1, 2, 3, a 4mm crystal and 2 seed beads. Then I'm going through the crystal at the top. So I'm going back on myself. I'm going backwards and forwards in this stitch. And when I do nothing, I often just hold it one way and I don't really move. I don't really move, like don't flip flop the pattern backwards and forwards. So coming down on that crystal, pulling this up. I love these beads. These they do look like a little bit like sea glass actually. They do remind me. Just make sure it's nice and tight. We could have used pearls as well. So 3 seed beads, 1, 2, 3, 8mm crystal and the seed, taking this down and then coming back on myself, picking up 3 seed beads, 4mm crystal, 2 seed beads and crossing to the top. Seed bead, 6mm, seed bead, crystal. I can already like feel it in my hand that this is going to work out better with the 3 seed beads at the bottom. And sometimes you kind of just know, like it falls into place just like that. Seed bead, 1, 2, 3, 8mm, small crystal, seed bead. I'm going to go back on myself through the crystal and the 8mm. I'm going to pop it down and just double check it. Yeah, already is sitting better. Get a few more crystals. What do we think? Do let me know in the chat. So 3 seed beads, 1, 2, 3, 4mm, then 2 seed beads. One, I lost one on there. I pinged one away. Going up through the crystal. I mean, these doesn't have to be crystals, they could be pearls. Seed bead, 6mm, seed bead, crystal, 2 seed beads, crossing down in the 4mm. Then 3 seed beads, 1, 2, 3, 8mm, small crystal, seed bead. How about using 8mm on the top and 6mm on the bottom? That's a really good idea as well, Mina, because with that, sort of the bottom would fan out with the 6mm. We can try that as well, definitely. Just see, I want to do a few more stitches of this just so we can have a comparison. So at least we have like 5 at the bottom, because sometimes when you do a design or do a stitch, sometimes you just haven't done enough and you just need to do a few more stitches to when it becomes looking good. So sometimes it's just a case of like you haven't done enough. 1, 2, 3, 4mm, 2 seed beads, and something is in the shot again. Coming up, and just go backwards and forwards all the way on the necklace. Slightly different sort of beads you pick up as you go along, but it's kind of really two steps to it. 1, 2, 3, 8mm, crystal, seed bead, taking this down, turning around, making my way, oops, I know what I did. I pinked the seed bead away, and then all of the beads just fallen up. So through the crystal and the size 8 millimeter. Then 1, 2, 3, crystal, 1, 2, and up there. 6 mil. Coming down. And I think once you do a little bit, like the pattern really speeds up, because you kind of get into this momentum of like, you kind of know what pattern to pick up. It's once it's kind of wires into the brain, it's so easy to sort of just keep on going and just keep on stitching. I'm gonna pick up 3, 1, 2, 3, and the 4 mil and 2, and I'm gonna get to the top and I'm gonna pop it down on the mat and we will have a look. So having 3 at the bottom, can you see like how much more this one can open up? And when I would want this in a necklace, then I would go up on the top. I mean, we might not need that size 11 at the top. We might have to get rid of the size 11 between the 6 mils and just go straight for the crystal from the 6 mil to be able to have it, because it's still kind of not, well, it will fan out, but it's still not not sitting. I think it's a bit crowded at the top, sort of speak. Or if we added another seed bead and then just sort of gone through the 2s. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to quickly run down on the top row. So I'm just going to sew these together and see what happens then. Because when I do a necklace like this, I would always finish by, not always, but most of the time, I like to finish by running through the top row. And then why is that good? Because when you attach each end of this top row to a clasp and you run along, then this thread will hold your necklace up more than the netting itself. And especially if you're working with bicones, bicones can have the tendency to have a bit of a sharp end on either side of the bicone. So by running your thread through at the top, and that will be then connected to your clasp, is just really takes the stress away from the crystals, because the weight will be held up by this top row where there is no crystals in between at all. There we go. I think still we need to curve it a little bit more, so we need to add, either take those seed beads away. If you taken the seed beads away, that would work as well. And then we run in the top row, then I would add 1 seed bead in between to kind of cover the top of the crystal. That would be a good one as well. So all sorts of different things, but I think that is quite pretty. And you could do that, like you don't have to do that all the way around. You could just do that as a front piece. So I could just make maybe, let's say about 6 inches of beading, like 15 centimeters is work quite nice. I could go down to like 5 inches as well. That would work, or do even more, like you do 8 inches at the front. Really depends on how big you want the front it to be. But if I add this next to it, if I put this next to it, can you see like how much this is much more flexible? And this one is much more rigid, and the only difference between the 2 netting there is 1 single seed bead at the bottom, and it makes a lot of difference, the pattern being able to open up or it's staying more closed and feeling more pulled. So sometimes you only just 1 seed bead away to have a perfect pattern. But I think I would do that. I would remove the seed beads from the side at the top, and then add a seed bead in when I run along at the top, so kind of protect the thread as well. And you could remove the if I pull these up, you could remove that crystal, and instead of that crystal have something else there. There's so many different things you could do. You could cross over, you could put the crystal sort of underneath and cross over in a seed bead, crystal seed bead, to have more of a longer sort of lines at the top, to lengthen that part. And if you cross over in a seed bead, crystal seed bead, then you are protecting your thread 100%, because it's not going to then be rubbed against of the side of the crystal at all. Right, I'm gonna just show you this one as well. So we had a little play with this one, these little diamonds as well. I'm gonna have to play with this. I know it doesn't look much, but this is how ideas do form. It really doesn't look much right now, but once maybe we could add an 8mm. So if you know, with this technique we did on this one here, just pop this back up, this technique we done on here with the 8mm, we could have added the 8mm in like that over there as well. So if that would be on the bottom there, it would like completely look different as well. So there's so many different things you can interchange and interconnect and sort of as you come and go about. Leslie saying, I would like to see more space, another seed bead or two between the top bead and the first mask crystals. Yes, absolutely, exactly, that's what I was thinking. So crossing over in a seed bead, crystal seed bead, rather than just crossing over in the crystal straight away. So that's something to play with as well. There is so many different things we could do. We could sit here for the next 6-10 hours and just sort of do all sorts of different variations, and they all gonna look good. And sometimes I sit there, my watch just started talking to me. And sometimes, like, it comes to me the first or second try. Sometimes I have to try 10 different patterns before I get to a final one where it's worth sort of pursuing and looks good. And sometimes I abandon it at I don't know, try number 5 or 6 and come back to it 6 months later with a fresh pair of eyes. So that's kind of how it goes. But I just love it. I just love working out. I think I'm gonna have this week, I'm definitely gonna make more time and have a bit more play with this this netting pattern, because I think this would look really good in a necklace. And especially, hopefully, spring will be on the way soon. Well, we are like almost through January now, so spring will be on the way soon, and then and we can once again sort of, instead of wearing big thick jumpers, we can wear sort of low cut tops, and then we can wear these nice beautiful big necklaces. Right, that's for me today. I'm gonna go and let Roxy out. I'll be back on Totally next Wednesday morning, back here next Wednesday night. I hope everybody have a beautiful week. Please like and share the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done, because like it really helps the channel out, and I appreciate every single one of you like turning up every single Wednesday and spending your Wednesday evening or afternoon with you. We need spring really soon. Ruth is saying absolutely we need spring. We need a bit of warmth weather. And I want longer nights, like for me, not even the cold, but it's like because it gets dark at 5 p.m. So if it would get dark like 7-8 p.m, it would be great, because could just like, you know, finish work and go and walk the dog or do something. But anyway, have a very good evening and a rest of your week.